Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got the Sig Sauer 1911-22 that we put in last week's video, and this time we're going to do just a little prettying up. The grips that are on it are actually nice grips, and it is a nice looking gun, but when you take the black with the dark brown, it just kind of makes it look a little bit dull. So even though they are nice looking grips and they're good quality grips, the gun just doesn't really stand out. So we're just going to pretty it up a little bit. And we found these on Amazon. We'll put the link in the description. But a lot of these handmade things, they'll be there for a while. When they're gone, they're gone. There'll be something different or something else. So if you like these, if you were getting them shortly after the video is released, you should be able to still get them. I think there was 18 left when I looked today. But after that, these may disappear and something similar will be available. So let's go ahead and get this thing done. It's actually fairly easy to change grips on a 1911. Of course, you make sure that it's an empty 1911. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the old grips and get some of this stuff out of the way so I can get this where the camera's in. Just remove the screw. Now, one of the things with different 1911 grips, these have a little protrusion in the frame. Not all 1911s do, most do. So the grips will want to kind of stay on it. So you kind of have to get under them sometimes and pop them off. But resist the temptation to go after them with a screwdriver. So pop that one off. Grab the other one. And I'm going to save these screws because it does come with screws, but the 22s often use a narrower gauge screw. So I'm going to suspect that these new screws aren't going to fit. When you look at these compared to the other ones, you'll see that the new ones are a lot thicker. So I'm not going to be able to use the new screws. I'm going to have to reuse the old. And that's not unusual for the screws to be a little different. Pop the other grip off. Now, one thing that you'll see is that the new ones came with these O-rings. And the purpose of the O-ring is to both act as a cushion. If we get rid of this cat here. Gotta love this camera, it picks up everything. It acts as a cushion and it also acts as a retainer. So I'm going to put that little rubber O-ring on each one of the original screws. Like that. So that when I torque it down, I'm not going to crack or split the grips. So I'll just do those one at a time. So there we go. And then it's time to put the new grips on. The grip that goes on the right hand side of the gun has a notch to allow room for the mag release to protrude. So I'm going to drop that in place, snap it on there. Put the two screws in. Now this has an aluminum alloy frame, so you want to be careful that when you start the screws, a lot of times you want to go backward a little bit till you feel them drop into place, like that one just did, and then go forward. If you get resistance when you start to tighten the screw, back off. You're probably cross-threaded. And I'm going to torque it down just till I feel a little bit of pressure on that O-ring. That one just locked up perfectly on the first try. I don't want to super tighten them because I don't want to crack the grips, but I want to tighten them enough that they're going to stay on. Flip it over and repeat on the other side. And the O-ring, of course, isn't always going to want to stay on there. If this was the screws that it came with, they would fit more tightly around the O-ring and it would stay put. These screws are a little bit smaller, so the O-ring has a tendency to want to pop off. That won't be a problem once it's in place. Tighten them down. Now I have nice new grips. And they really kind of lighten the gun up. They make it look a lot nicer. If I slide the old ones out of the way. And the last thing I want to do is I want to function check it, because a lot of times with the 1911 there's spring assemblies in here, and if the screws protrude a little bit they could interfere. This is a 22, so you can't dry fire it, so I have these snap caps. So I'm going to put a snap cap in, chamber a snap cap, and the gun still works. So if you want to pretty up a 1911, I mean this happens to be a 22, but if you want to pretty up a 1911 really easily, new grips can do it, and it's such an easy job to do. There's a lot of them out there in G10 and various other things, and they all look nice. You'll often find a lot of these handmade ones on the auction sites, Amazon, and things like that. And these particular ones are rosewood, and they can really make the difference in just how your 1911 looks. Comfort, they're very comfortable. They've got a little bit of texture here, so they're going to be grippy. Not that you need a whole lot of grip with a 22. It's not like they're trying to fly out of your hands. But overall, it's just a quick and easy improvement you can do to pretty up a gun. And these particular ones were around 70 bucks. I've seen nice looking grips in the 30-40s on up to a couple hundred. They're usually right around the 70 to 100 range for nice ones. But beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, click that bell if you do. Check us out on Facebook and Patreon, and have a great day. Thank you.